Hi, good morning. Happy Tuesday. So, I don't know if you guys have seen this on this app, but now I have seen four different videos of young women living in New York City that were walking down a sidewalk, looking at their phone, and then get punched in the face by a member of the opposite sex. And for you liberals out there, that's called a man. Okay? It's kind of like a little disturbing trend that I'm seeing that these women are being punched in the face by a dude, right? Because they're looking down on the sidewalk and they're walking in New York. So this is what I'm going to say to New Yorkers out there. Stop voting for Democrats, okay? Because this is what happens when they run your city, right? No cashless bail, not hard on crime whatsoever. And just yesterday, a police officer doing a routine traffic stop was murdered by a man that had a rap sheet about a mile long and was out walking around the city like no big deal. Okay? So these criminals can continue to do these acts because of the politicians that you elect into office. Okay? To the point where if you get something to have like a little bit of a short-term memory lapse, because I remember during the last whole summer of love when you guys were screaming defund the police and fuck those pigs. Remember all that kind of shit? And being the wife of a first responder, I'm going to tell you that their jobs are incredibly difficult because they get an enormous amount of hate all the time, okay? But this is what I'm going to say to you guys. Of course it's not okay. Women, you obviously need to be careful walking around the cities in New York, apparently, because you're going to get punched in the face if you happen to be looking down instead of up. But this is like another disturbing trend of crime that's happening in New York City. So the police officer doing a routine traffic stop on a guy with a rap sheet got murdered. He's a father, he's a husband, and now he won't be coming home at night because New York is run by Democrats, okay? This is why New York had the largest amount of people leaving that state, and you can look that one up. Because this is what's going on. When you hire Democrats who care more about criminals in your city than they do the citizens, they care about flooding your city with people that do not belong here, with no background checks, no nothing. This is the result of what you get for voting, okay? The fact that you could be a citizen and walk down the street, look at your phone, and get punched in the face is ridiculous, okay? But this is what's going on in New York City right now. And the crime has gotten so bad that old Hochul had to bring in the National Guard to patrol subway stations because of how bad the crime has gotten there. So it's kind of like that definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. Why don't you start voting the other way, where people give a shit about crime and they give a shit about locking up criminals and keeping them there, so it has a stiffer punishment for doing said crimes? Because right now, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want in New York City and get let right back out of jail the very next day with no bond, which is amazing to me because of these whole cashless bond systems. So how much more are you going to keep creating the chaos that you're living in? Is what I'm going to say. Because you want to know where I can walk down my street and not get punched in the face? Florida. Yeah, it never happened to me. And when criminals act up here, well, they get put in jail. Because we got good sheriffs like Sheriff Grady Judd and the sheriff of Lee County that doesn't put up with criminals. And when they go and break the law here in Florida, they don't see the light of day. They stay in jail. That's how it happens. Stop voting for these people because they are not worried about you being a citizen. All they care about is your vote. And that's it. So how much more? How much more, New York, being a blue state that you are? Crime is rampant, stores being robbed in broad daylight. I mean, how much more do you guys want to, see? God, my husband's entire family is from New York. We go there quite a bit to visit. I loved New York City because when Giuliani took over New York City, it was the way it looks right now. And Giuliani, a Republican, fixed that city up. And that city was running like a well-oiled machine. And look how far it has fallen since a Democrat has been in power. Going back to Cuomo, now to Kathy Hochul. How much more do you have to see before you realize that the way that you're voting isn't working out so good for you? You want to know who it's working out good for? The criminals. Okay, this was fun. Good talk. Oh, and Trump 2024.